and welcome back to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, your source for all things Everton. My name's Thomas, back on the channel today with a special video as Everton head back to the USA for the pre-season tour. Introduced today Tony Sampson. He's been on the channel before with Jerry, I believe, of course, the chair of the Everton Fans Forum from the Chicago Evertonians group as well. He's going to be telling us a bit more about kind of the pre-season tour, what American fans can expect anyway, and just kind of general bits and bobs about that. But Tony, first of all, thank you very much for coming on. How are you doing today?
I'm really well, really good, very excited. Thanks for having me on, Thomas. Really excited. I'm heading out to DC later on today. So yeah, the excitement's been building out here for a long time now. So it's finally here.
Yeah, fantastic. It's good to see the team go back there again. Of course, this is the follow-on trip from last year's successful trip in the Florida Cup. A couple of very interesting matches along the way with that penalty shootout that seemed to last for an eternity. Was it John Joe Kenny Panenka as well? I can't quite rember what was going on there, but it was absolute carnage. A
little wink after his pen as well.
Absolutely fantastic. But aside from the football, was last year's trip, the success that it seemed over the pond anyway?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it'd been quite a long time since the team had been out in the US. So just to have them out there again, or have them out here again, was amazing. It was slightly restricted, obviously, because we were still sort of, within the midst of the pandemic. So we weren't able to do all the kind of engagement events and activities that I think that we would have hoped. And the club, had some restrictions in terms of player access and stuff. But yeah, no, it was amazing. And what was great was just having all the Blues together. Aside from the matches, being able to connect with all the people that you speak to on social media and, through the supporter club network. It was just great to have everyone together and show kind of everyone what the force of the Everton supporter network is out here.
Yeah, no, it seemed fantastic. I know a couple of our lads like Jacob and Alejandro, they got to meet up as well, which was, it is always fantastic to see. I know that, of course, it had been, as you mentioned there, quite a few years since we had been out in America, despite the large fan base that we know that we have out there. So it was good to see. So from last year, was it clear that it was a trip that was going to happen again? Did you expect it maybe so soon this year?
Yeah, I did actually. I mean, I think the club has embarked on its sort of international strategy. It's got serious about that, I think, in the last kind of 18 months, 2 years. And it was pretty clear that North America was going to be part of that strategy. So I don't think it was any great surprise that, it wanted to invest and have the team come over again. I think it's just about finding the right opportunities. So, and, there's a lot going on in terms of, working with the club and working with the supporter club networks to kind of build the brand and support the strategy out here. There's a soccer schools program, there's the international affiliate program. As I said, there's a lot of work going on. The supporter group leads meet on a monthly basis to sort of, work up projects. The Hummel gear we did, the branded merch with all the supporters clubs was something that, we got together to sort of help sort of build a brand out here. So it wasn't a surprise. I think what's great about it this year, though, is that, Evertonians will get to see the team in a couple of cities. So having them travel to both Baltimore, well, actually 3, DC, Baltimore, and then Minnesota is even better, because it just means that even more Evertonians will be able to have their Everton fix.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just about to mention as well. Of course, only going to Florida last year, but this year, a much wider range, and hopefully in the future there will be more cities and more states visited as well. But kind of just to kind of introduce us to the whole thing. I know there's going to be a whole rundown of events aside from the football. It's Arsenal up first, and we'll see how that will go. But aside from the football, anyway, can you give us maybe a quick rundown of the idea of different things that might be going on aside from the matches?
Yeah, sure. First of all, a big shout out to some of the local supporter groups that have been heavily involved in planning all of these events. So particularly in Baltimore, I'll give them a shout out: AJ, Mike, Alan, JT. There's others I'm sure I've forgotten. Same in Minnesota, Mark Muller and Ross Sanders. They've been working with the club and the supporter network out here, trying to get all these events sort of set up and make sure it's a special experience for everybody. So big heads up for them. A lot of work goes into this, and I know that they're all really proud to be kind of hosting Evertonians, not just from the US, but actually from the UK this time. And I think that's what's brilliant about this year is that we're going to have Blues come from the city and from the UK. I think that'll make it an even more special event. So in terms of what's going on, it all kicks off tomorrow night. So there's an event, Roger Bennett is hosting a Men in Blazers event in DC. So that's sold out. Frank Lampard and a couple of the players are going to be there. as part of that. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Roger Bennett, but he's a bit of a bit of an icon over here in terms of him trying to raise the profile of football. Obviously a big Evertonian as well, so that should be a good event. He's normally good value, and then heading then across to Baltimore on Friday, and that's when all the events kick off. So there's a welcome event at Lucky's Tavern from 6 o'clock. Tim Howard and Leon Osman are going to be there for that event. That's being hosted by the Baltimore Toffees. So you don't need a ticket, but it's first come, first served. So, get there as early as you can. Kicks off between 6 and 9. No age restrictions. So families and kids and others are welcome. And then we head into stay on the Saturday. There's going to be a supporters kickabout in the morning at Latrobe Park. So again, just turn up. All the details on this are on kind of the Baltimore Toffees website and also on the Everton website. You turn up there. There's going to be, say, a supporters match. We did it last year in Florida. The teams even ran out to Z cards as well. So we'll see if that can be replicated. And then we get into the kind of the tailgate. Obviously, what's great about here is you get to sort of experience football the American way. So there'll be an event at the Firehouse from 2 o'clock where all the Evertonians will gather. It's right by the stadium. And there's going to be, again, there'll be ambassadors visiting there from the club. There's going to be some fan media podcasts as well that'll be going on before the game. And then there'll be a march to the match, and I hope that we can maybe see a little bit of Blue Pyro as well as the coaches welcome, so we can blend a bit of what went on at Goodison last year. And then into the match, and then back to the pub after there. So yeah, quite a long day, but it should be fantastic to have everybody there. And then to close off things in Baltimore, the Baltimore Toffees are hosting kind of a farewell brunch, and they've got giveaways and raffles and other things with merchandise on the Sunday morning. That's quite you've got to register your interest on that through the Baltimore Toffees Twitter site because it's a small venue, but that's being hosted at Region Ale, which is the host pub for the Baltimore Toffees, where they meet every Saturday to watch the games. So that's good. And then it's across to Minnesota. So a little bit of a similar routine. Monday, there's going to be a welcome event at La Doña Cerveza, which is the host pub for the Minnesota Toffees. There in the Foundry. Again, 6 till 9. They're expecting some visitors and some guests from the football club again. Be a chance for everybody to gather and connect. And I also understand on the Tuesday that the club is working on an event. It's still to be confirmed, but hopefully we'll hear more about that in the next 48 hours. But that'll be on the Tuesday evening before the game. So it'll be a chance for all the Blues to get together and gather in one place there. And again, hopefully there'll be some special guests at that. And then obviously it's match day on the Wednesday before the tour finishes. We'll be meeting at the Black Slap Brewery from 4 o'clock on the Saturday, and then again march to the match, and then that's it. And hopefully then we can start planning for next year. Yeah,
sounds like an absolutely fantastic jam-packed schedule there. Plenty to fit in, and as you mentioned before, kind of COVID restrictions last year made it was a good experience, but it was limited in how you could interact with the players, how you could interact with each other, especially. So how important is that now? You are going to kind of get the opportunity to interact with the manager, the players, and just everything like that. It's going to be a much more involved atmosphere, I feel like.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, we talked earlier, didn't we, about kind of the importance of actually having the team out there. You can do all the kind of engagement and supporting the supporters groups, but the thing that has the biggest impact is actually having the team here. And I think, as you say, now with the restrictions lifted, it gives us an opportunity to sort of strengthen that connection even further. I think we saw last season, didn't we? The way in which kind of the manager and some of the players sort of connected with the fan base, particularly towards the end of the last season. So having that opportunity there for Blues that don't get the chance and aren't lucky enough to be able to go to Goodison every week is a real plus. So I'm really hoping out there, and again, the fact that sort of form ambassadors like Tim Howard and Leon Osman are going to be involved in in some of the events, and we'll be able to mingle and connect with the fans as well is a real plus. I know everybody's really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can imagine there. And you mentioned before as well. Sorry about that. About the merchandise that you made with Hummel, of course. we know how fantastic Hummel have been with the club since they arrived as the kit provider. Is there going to be more opportunities for merchandise and fans to get some of that?
Yeah, so I think the local groups, Baltimore and Minnesota, they've got their own kind of merch range that'll be available for sale there. The Hummel stuff that's all sort of online, but there'll be details of how people can get hold of that if they want to do it. One thing that has been done is, excuse me, Thomas, is the supporter network has got together and made produced a specific tour scarf. That was available for pre-sale, but there will be some available for sale at both venues as well, and all the proceeds of that are going to they're going to be split between charities in Baltimore and Minnesota. So doing a little bit for charity as well, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, please go on.
No, that was it. I mean, I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for merchandise. We understand as well that the club is going to be making official merchandise available as well. So obviously with the new shirt, being released recently, the idea is that that'll be available for sale as well.
Great, absolutely fantastic. That would be a great opportunity as well then. And of course, this is 2 years in a row now in America. Do you think this will now just be a regular thing going there? Well, hopefully it will be for the American fans, but do you see this continuing in the future?
Yeah, I hope so. As I said, I mentioned earlier, the club's got a long-term strategy and international growth strategy, and North America is sort of slap bang in the middle of that. So, I think it's got to keep building it. I think if you're not building on that year after year, then I think it impacts on the continuity and the impact of the strategy overall. So, I hope that this now becomes an annual event and we can continue to spread the word about the Toffees over here in America and keep expanding and making sure it continues to be seen as America's team.
Yeah, brilliant. That sounds fantastic. But that's pretty much the end of my question. I'm not sure if you've got anything you'd like to add, maybe where people can find more information going forward.
Yeah, sure. Well, look, they can get information on the official club website. So there's a specific USA section there that's got a rundown of all the events, where they are, whether they're ticketed or not, who's going, and all the locations. So that should be clear. And then they can visit the Baltimore Toffees sort of website and the Minnesota Toffees website and Twitter handles and stuff if they want any more specific information. But yeah, feel free to get in touch. If people have got any questions. I know the Baltimore group, for example, ran a space yesterday and gave people the opportunity to ask questions if they've got anything about travel or where to stay or anything like that. They've also produced a really helpful guide on things to do in the city and hotels and all that sort of stuff. So there's plenty of information out there, all on the usual channels if people want to do it. If people have got any other questions, they can also email northamericantoffees@gmail.com. So that's the home of the sort of network of supporter group leads. And if we can't deal with your query, then we'll push it the right way so you can get the right answer.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. And then I guess it just comes down to the football. Then hopefully we see some excitement on the pitch. Sadly, no particularly exciting signings this year. We know James Tarkowski came in on a free, but not the big name players. But I'm sure it will be an absolute spectacle nonetheless. But Tony, thank you very much for coming on. That was great to hear from you. And fans, I hope you all enjoy the experience anyway. As you mentioned there, if you need any more information, check out all the emails and all the social medias that were just provided there. And I hope everyone has the best time possible. So thank you all very much for watching, and join us next time on the Toffee Blues.